Oh, good call. All right, yes, thank you everyone for joining us today for our live demonstration of our Neighbors by Vinteum software. Today, we're specifically going to show you how to safely store your community documents, as well as introduce you some other tools that are available within our software. If you do have any questions during the demonstration, feel free to send them in via chat or the Q&A section. But keep in mind, we are going to have a Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. Yeah, my name is Frank. I'm the account executive here at Vinteum Software. I do one-on-one product demonstrations on a daily basis, but we have now been performing these live product webinars for the better part of a year now. These are great because it allows us the opportunity to showcase our tools to a large audience all at one time. About myself, I was born and raised in Southern California, where I attended and graduated from the University of Redlands, and I now reside in downtown Sacramento, about a mile away from the Capitol building here. When I'm not glued to my computer, I like to hang out with my dog Finley, go hiking, or just hang out at home and have a little barbecue. But lucky for us, we are also joined by my associate Leila today. She is a dear friend of mine and associate. So Leila, tell us about yourself.
Thank you. So my name is Leila. I'm the head of marketing and customer success here at Vinteum. I grew up in Belgium and I graduated from the University of Southampton in the UK. So if you can hear an accent, that's why. I've been with the company since 2018, moving through customer support, customer success, and moving into marketing as well. And now I do a little bit of everything. And outside of work, I also enjoy hiking, spending time with my dogs, and reading. I'm on a good reading streak. So that is.
How many books have you read this year?
I think we've gone past 20 by now.
Wow.
But I've lost count.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, there you go. So let's go into what to expect today. Can you switch slides, Frankie?
Oh, yes, I apologize.
Gotta keep up with the slides. So today we're going to be talking about how to safely store your HOA and condo documents online. So we're going to be looking at the benefits, where to store documents, how to make that transition from physical to online, and just including online more. And then Frank will take it away with a product demo talking about Neighbrs by Vinteum and how you can use it to store documents and much more. So getting into the benefits here, you can easily foster trust by giving residents easy access to documents. So it's a really, I'm not going to say easy, but one way to increase your transparency and increase trust with resident is to give them access to documents. Things like financial documents and HOA meeting minutes really make them feel that they are included in the community's decision-making, that they understand the situation, and it makes it harder to make false assumptions about the board as well. It's much clearer. They know what the board is doing when they can see those records clearly and easily without having to go after them, ask different people for access. If it's all there, all online, it's much easier for them. It also holds board members more accountable, as residents will know more about how they're acting and how they're voting. When rules aren't easily accessible, residents are also more likely to break them. If they haven't made the effort to go after, to find the documents, to find the rules, they may be violating rules without them realizing it. So awareness is really key. And reducing those violations decreases the board's workload and stress as well. And you deal with a lot less repetitive questions when residents can just find the answers online. Because if they know where to find the information, they don't have to ask you about it. So it's a win-win situation for both parties. Also, when documents are online, they can't be damaged or lost during moves. So transitioning from one board member to another, often it's just a box of documents that moves, and documents can get lost during that process. And if there's a natural disaster as well, we have a lot of clients in Florida, and so hurricane season is a real thing there. So having those documents online means that you always have a copy of them. Keeping those digital copies in your archives prevents against any loss, any damage of those documents, which are so important to keep. And then when the board transitions and board members join, the information needs to be passed on. So like I mentioned, we hear a lot that newly elected board members are just given boxes of unorganized hard copies of documents, and they don't know what's where and they don't know what to do. And it makes a handover really, really difficult. And so when it's online, it makes it a lot smoother. The old board member can sit down and show you exactly where everything is. And then last but not least, we have sustainability. If you go paperless, or at least reduce the paper copies, the forms, or the printed documents, it's a real pledge to preserve our environment. You don't have to get rid of all your paper records. You should definitely keep some things in hard copy. But if you're more conscious about what you're printing out and what documents really need to be physical copies, you're definitely increasing your HOA sustainability and also saving yourself some money as a bonus. So moving in to storing documents, I'm going to release a little poll here because I'd really like to know where you guys currently store your documents. So you have 3 options here: physical storage, online, or in a generalized platform, or in a specialized platform. So please do go ahead and answer that poll. So going into the different options of online document storage that you have. So if you're a small community or a community that's just getting started, you just created it, using a generalized platform is a really good start. If you use Dropbox, Google Docs, you have a lot of different free tools that have a certain amount of storage space for free. It is a really good way to get started, to get those documents online, to have everything in one place. However, it can get a little bit complicated. So when you have a lot of board changes, people are coming, they're going, residents are moving in and out, you have to make sure that everyone has the correct level of access individually, and that residents can also access what they need. And that's when a generalized storage platform can become a little bit difficult. So the ideal solution then is to use a platform made for community associations. So that's actually thought through with HOA and condos in mind. So if you go for a solution that solves several issues at once, so as well as having a place where you can store and shed documents, maybe it also allows you to book amenities, deal with maintenance requests, as well as organize and maintain community records and communicate with residents. That really is the ideal solution for community associations. Looking at the poll that I released here, the majority still goes for physical storage. So I'm really pleased to see you here today. I'm hoping that we can persuade you that online is also a good solution that doesn't have to be very difficult. So I'm going to end that poll here because we're going to go into making that transition. And I'm going to release another poll for you guys on whether or not you've made that transition yet. Based on your answers in the last poll, possibly not, but you never know. So you have 2 answers, yes or no here. So making the transition into digital can seem very nerve-wracking. It's a big change to go through, and it's something that does require organization. So involving different board members right from the beginning is really important. If you're a larger HOA, you could even include committee members as well. You could create a committee just for this. That's a really great way to get people involved and to make sure that it all goes smoothly. So getting people involved, setting objectives, what you want to achieve, and assigning different tasks and different responsibilities to people are a very important part of this process. It's also essential that you choose an efficient and secure platform. So it needs to really meet your needs. So I was talking before about what you could have in a specialized platform, like maybe you do have amenities, maybe that is an important thing for you, maybe it's not. So you need to evaluate different platforms and see if they meet your needs. And to do that, sit down with board members, sit down with committees, and really brainstorm about what needs to be done, what you want to see. It can take you time to understand what it is that's important and what your expectations are. So take that time, there's no rush, make a list of what you want, and then research providers and see if that matches your list. You can even ask them a list of questions. They can fill it in and give it back to you. So you know instantly if they're a good match for you or not. You can also compare the prices, obviously, the value that they bring you. So it's not just about how much you're paying, but how much they're giving back to you as well with that value, and the features that they have that match what you need. And then you need to start looking at organizing your documents. So you need to be able to find your documents within the platform. So they need to be organized in a logical way. Often people have folders with minutes and agendas and financial documents, as well as ARC forms and so on and so forth. You can have different folders that are subdivided into year as well. That way it makes it easier for board members to find the documents, understand them, and residents as well. What else? Then uploading documents. It's a big step. So if all your documents are in paper, you need to scan them. So if you have a scanner, great. Get scanning. You can ask people for help as well. If you have a child or a grandchild at home, a teenager, get them scanning documents, or using an app as well. There are really great apps out there, like Cam Scanner is one that takes a picture and then it converts into a PDF, so it's easy to upload. And then finally, you need to share those documents. So make sure that board members have the correct access. Your manager has access if they need it, committee members as well. So everyone needs to have access to view them, possibly edit them, possibly add new documents. Once you've done that, get your residents involved, tell them where to find the document, show them where it is. You could record a quick video accessing the document so they can see how it is done, and everything will be online for them and it'll make it so much easier. All right, I have talked enough. I'm going to hand it over to Frank. I'm just going to end the poll here, and it ended 50-50. Half of you have made this transition and half haven't. So split crowd here today.
Okay, yeah, and for those that haven't, I really hope you learned something today. And then for those that have, maybe you don't actually have a solution like Leila mentioned that really focuses on HOAs. So hopefully we can be a guide for you to introduce that type of storage solution. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into our next slide here, kind of giving you a general overview of what is Neigbrs by Vinteum. So Neigbrs by Vinteum is an all-in-one software solution for HOAs, condominium complexes, as well as property management companies. And what we really do focus on is an all-in-one approach to community communication. In fact, we have a 5-channel approach, including sending out notices by email, SMS, text message, push notification directly to our app. You can send out smart calls, which are voice automated messages you can send out to your residents, basically in the form of like a Siri or Alexa style voice. We also have an in-app direct chat messaging system. So really, we have a total comprehensive approach to when it comes to communicating with residents and intra-board communication. And also, our software is backed by an award-winning customer success team. As you can see, some of our accolades listed right here. Their goal is to make sure that our clients have the know-how and the tools to succeed. In fact, you will have a dedicated account manager that will hold your hand in the initial beginning stages of implementation and will always be available to assist you when needed. We've helped communities actually in 5 different countries improve their transparency and overall efficiency. And we hope that after today's webinar, you will want to jump on board too. So what does Neigbrs by Vinteum try and solve? Well, Vinteum itself, the name Vinteum is actually Portuguese for the number 21. Our company was named this because it is our goal to bring community associations to the 21st century. Many of the current processes used by HOA boards were built 20, 30 years ago when technology was just not as present as it is today. But with Neigbrs by Vinteum, you can largely benefit from a variety of tools that are available. We provide a centralized system for all of your software needs. No need to look to multiple platforms for individual tools. We have tons of ways you can increase transparency through communication with residents and the board. You can efficiently and safely store your community documents and segment who can view and manage them. We also have a ton of additional managerial tools you could utilize, which we will touch on briefly today. And without further ado, I will go ahead and jump into a demonstration of our Neighbors by Vinteum platform. So right here is going to be the front page of the backend portal. This is where the tools are located to communicate with residents, to manage the association. And as you can see here in the top right-hand side, I am logged in as the master administrator, so I do have the highest level of access to this tool. We essentially have 11 different profiles, and with each one of those profiles, you could decide who has access to the different parts within the system. So we have our master administrator level. Some communities might have 1 or they might have 5. We also have an administrator level. We have a board member level, property manager level, staff, all the way down to owners and renters. But what's key there is you could really decide who within your community can access the different features within the system. And since we are talking about specifically documents today, I'm going to go ahead and jump to that, which you can go ahead and click on the tools on the left-hand side or directly from this toolbar right here. So I'm going to go ahead and select on my files storage section. So this is how you can go ahead and centralize all of your community documents in one location. You can be very specific about your organization by having multiple folders, multiple subfolders, and even more subfolders after that if you'd like. So you can be very specific about your organization. But what sets this system apart from just a typical file storage such as Google Docs or Dropbox, this is really focused on HOAs and allows you to decide who can access which files and folders. So as you can see on the right-hand side, some of these documents are available to only my administrators or my property manager and administrators. So when a resident logs in here to view your community documents, they can only see the ones available to residents or with this public profile tag. And to add a document is really quite simple. Let me go ahead and show you how to do that. Just go ahead and click the add button right here. You're going to add a new folder, a new file, or even a direct link. So as opposed to adding just a document, you can have a direct link to a third-party website or maybe to a Google document where you want your boards to be able to edit the form. You can go ahead and provide that direct link right there. Let's say I'm going to go ahead and add a new folder, specifically my welcome packet for my new residents. So, you know, it's important to have a welcome packet for your residents to be able to access, to get information about the community, you know, typically frequently asked questions or, you know, the different processes and rules and regulations your association has. They can easily view it within that welcome packet. So go ahead and click on create to create the new folder. And now I have this new folder created called welcome packet. And to easily add documents within that folder, go ahead and click the add button, add file. And I'm going to go ahead and upload that directly from my computer. So I'm going to quickly access a specific document I just created for sample purposes. It's a welcome sample letter. I'm going to go ahead and add this to my folder section. When you do add a document, what's great about this is you could go ahead and send out a notification to those specific profiles. So public, I can go ahead and send out a notification to everyone in regards to that document, letting them know that I just uploaded it. Or if I want to go ahead and make it private to different members within the community, maybe my property manager and administrators, only my administrators, or even private to specific individuals as well. So if I want to make it available to members from a specific committee, I can do that, or even down to a specific unit, all members within one unit, I can go ahead and do so. And then let's just, for this sake, I'm going to go ahead and make it public to everyone within my community so they can go ahead and access that welcome packet. For document type, you can go ahead and set up specific document types with each file and folder. For example, I'm just going to go ahead and put general, click add, and now this document is added to my storage section and available to my residents to go ahead and click. So let me go ahead and show you how your residents would go ahead and access that. So right here is going to be the front page for my resident profile. You can see that they might have a little bit more limited access to this system. So you can really limit what capabilities your residents do have. And in regards to documents, if they would need to access your important documents, they'd go ahead and click on that tool. And now these specific files and folders, as you can see, are available to either the resident profile tag or is available as public. You won't even see the other files and folders that are only available to your administrators. So that new folder I just created, welcome packet, and your new document, they could easily click on view the document, they could save it to their computer. And yeah, that's how they can easily access your community documents without having to reach out to the board. The idea is making it really easy in an efficient way for your residents to access your community documents. And going back to my master administrator profile view, just want to show you a couple of additional things in regards to our document storage tool. You can generate a public URL, which is really great. So if you want to go ahead and copy and paste a document directly onto your website, or maybe within a notice, you want to send out a notice to your residents, including a link to the document, you can go ahead and do so. So now your residents can click on that direct link and be directed to that document without actually having to log into the system. So a really easy way is just to allow your residents to access those specific documents. And if you are interested, if you're an association that utilizes architecture reviews for residents, we have a really great system through a third party called PDF Filler. A lot of our clients have residents manually fill out a architecture review form where they put in their address, the items they'd like to update on their property. Maybe they're painting their front door, or they want to add a chicken coop to their front yard. Whatever it might be, a lot of times we hear it's a very manual process in the sense that your residents have to reach out to get a paper document, manually fill it out, and then figure out how to get that to the board. But through this third-party system, it's a really seamless way to go ahead and have your residents do a digital document form. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and show you under forms. I do have this architecture review form. It's a digital document you can go ahead and have your residents fill out, which basically it's a direct link to this third-party system called PDF Filler. This is a free service. It's just a really easy, seamless way to go ahead and have residents digitally fill out documents. So for this example, your resident can fill out all the information about their units, and then the description of work to be done, the materials to be used, any vendor information here. And after this document is completed, all they have to do is click on done, and it immediately will send the association a copy of this document to go ahead and view. So just a really easy, seamless way for your residents to fill out different forms. All right, and then that pretty much takes you through our document storage section. Just to go ahead and show you, it's really easy to go ahead and search for specific documents. You can search for the date of modification, so your recently added files and folders, or you can search for specific documents. Let's say I want to search for all of my architecture reviews. I can just type in the first couple letters, or even search by a specific document type, and then click apply, and then those will go ahead and pop up here. It's a really easy way to go ahead and filter through your documents. All right, so that was a pretty good overview of our document storage section. I just want to go ahead and touch over some of our additional tools within our Neighbors by Vinteum platform. And it starts with community news and notices. So this is actually part of our 5-channel approach to communication. In regards to those outdated processes, we hear all the time that communities might, maybe post outside the clubhouse, a document with their notice that nobody ever sees. Or maybe you have like an email chain where you have all of your community residents' emails, where you just send out that mass email all the time, which isn't necessarily very efficient, and it's kind of hard to track all that communication. This is a really good system to go ahead and do so. So when you create a notice here, not only can it send out that mass email, but you can also send out an SMS text message and a push notification directly to our app, depending on your resident's preference. And then this could also be a good forum for all of your notices. As long as you don't provide an expiration date, these notices are always viewable at any point in time. To go ahead and generate a notice, go ahead and click the add button right here, enter in the title, information about the notice. You can go and schedule it for a future date if you'd like, set an expiration date so it's no longer viewable after a certain time period. You provide a list of attachments associated with the notice, which then you could store within your document storage section if you'd like. And then you could segment to specific recipients within the community. So for example, if you're a single family home community, maybe you might have 4, 5, 6 streets or more within the community. Maybe you're having a construction project that's only going to be affecting residents from 1 or 2 particular streets. Or maybe you're in a condominium complex that might have 3, 4, or 5 different buildings and it has an elevator out in one of the buildings. You can really segment the communication to specifically those different buildings or streets. You would go ahead and populate the system with those different building numbers or street names. And then even further, you could go ahead and segment the communication to specific units or houses within that street or specific building. And then even further to specific profiles. We do have 3 different resident profiles, including absentee owners, a primary resident profile, as well as an additional resident profile. So you can really hone in on who your communication needs to go ahead and be sent to. And the next item would be our social network tool. This is just a great place that kind of creates a sense of community for your residents, and it's all through this system. Your residents don't need to utilize Facebook for that social network tool. They could just go ahead and utilize this. So maybe there's a lost pet within the community that would want to go ahead and let their neighbors know. Residents can like and comment and favorite each other's posts. Maybe there's an event they want to go ahead and invite the locals to, or an item they have up for sale, that sort of thing. And of course, as an administrator, you might worry about someone posting something against your rules and regulations, a little outlandish. You can easily remove any posts or any comments at any time really easily. Then the next item would be our contact section. Basically acts as like a directory where residents can go ahead and view information about the staff within the community, the board members, a property manager if you do have one. But let me go ahead and show you that from the resident perspective. So click on community news and contacts. Now they can see all the individuals associated with the community here, including vendor information if you want to upload vendors into your system, board members, as well as other residents. But keep in mind, everyone has the ability to keep their information private into the system. So when their data is uploaded into the system, it's automatically going to be set to private until they go into their settings and adjust any of it to public if they would like. So you don't have to worry about giving away the important information for your residents without their consent. And then the next item would be our community calendar. Pretty straightforward, but just a great way to go ahead and let folks know what's going on within the community. You can go and provide your maintenance schedule. If you have any events coming up or your board meetings, you can easily add it to the calendar. And then you could also segment who can view the different events as well. So just like you can segment your communication to specific streets or buildings, you can also do that with the calendar. Then you could also put certain calendar items on the different profiles in the system. Maybe if it's an item that's just meant for your board members, you can specifically put it on their calendar and so forth. Then we also have an in-app chat messaging system, which basically just acts as like back and forth communication from one resident to another, resident to the board. But this is also a great place to host group communication as well. So if you have various committees within your association where you want your board members to communicate in one specific location, we could essentially add those specific groups within the system. Even if you want to have specific groups for your residents, such as tennis club, volunteers, book club, whatever it might be, this will allow you to store group communication with those members. So say I wanted to go ahead and send out a message to all of my board members, I can easily do so by clicking chat, add new message, group message, select a specific group. So my board members, for example, add the subject, enter the message, any attachments associated with it, and then click send. And every time you do add a new message, it's going to go ahead and create a new specific subject. So you can have multiple subjects within each group. All right, and then the next item would be our service request feature. This is just a great way you can handle general maintenance related items. If it's a condominium, it's likely that you handle within unit issues such as plumbing or other general maintenance related items, or if it's within an HOA, this might be more commonly used for those shared community areas. Maybe it's landscaping issue or a lighting issue that a resident sees within the community. But what's great about this is you can go ahead and set up specific subjects that your association deals with on a frequent basis. Maybe it's architecture reviews. You want a spot where you can go ahead and track the communication about the different architecture reviews that residents are creating, or landscaping, lighting, just an example of different topics you can have here. And what's great about this is you could decide which specific administrators receive the different communication. So if you have like a landscaping committee, you can have just those members in charge of the landscaping issues, along with each different topic. And let's just go ahead and show you how a resident would generate a maintenance request. Then go ahead and click on the service request feature, click the add button here, enter in the subject. So for example, we'll say landscaping. They can add any information about the incident they see here, and then provide any attachments associated with it. If they do have the app, they can actually attach a photo of the issue directly through the app, and then go ahead and click on send. So now this will be sent to all of my administrators in charge of my landscaping issues. Click OK. And when I go back to my master administrator view, I can now see that new issue that was created. Landscaping, I can see the address of the requester and the status of it. I can go ahead and view the communication that was reported. If there are any attachments associated with it, I can easily click on them. They'll be listed right here. And then I can reply to the applicant. I can provide any additional attachments if I want to show them that the item is taken care of, whatever it might be. Click send message, and I can put that it's in progress if you're working on the item, if you're waiting on a response from the requester, maybe you need some additional information, or if you want to go ahead and close off that request. And then what's great about that is when you do close off your request, it allows your resident to provide some feedback on whatever issue it might be, which will provide an easy way for you to go ahead and manage the different vendor work within your community. All right, and then the next couple items are our ability to send out text messages as well as smart calls, just really powerful communication tools. What's really great about our system is you don't have to rely on your residents to log into the system to view your communication. You could easily send them out a community-wide text message or a smart call. That smart call is like a voice automated message in the form of like a Siri or Alexa style voice. It can be sent to everyone within the community in an emergency situation, or you can hand select specific individuals you want to send that out to. And then the next item would be our virtual meeting feature. This is actually a great place you can host your board meetings, your meetings with residents. You can do it directly through our system. This is actually a full Zoom integration. But what's great about this is you don't actually need a Zoom license to utilize this feature. To create a meeting, just go ahead and click the add button right here. Enter in your meeting information, your agenda and description, your meeting minutes, which are downloadable. You can store them within your document storage tab. You can generate a poll or survey directly during the meeting if you're trying to get residents' feedback. Typically something preference-based, such as preferred internet and television provider, or maybe you're painting the community clubhouse and you want to get their preference of color, that sort of thing. And then when this is all set up, go ahead and click on publish. And then when the meeting is over, you can go ahead and view your attendance list. You can go ahead and view your voting results, and then you also have access to the recording as well. Your virtual meetings will automatically be recorded. Then the next item would be our separate vote or survey tool. So not necessarily attached to one of our meetings, but within the next couple of weeks, if you're trying to get feedback from your residents, you can go ahead and make it an anonymous vote or not. You could segment it to specific members within the community. And then after the voting results are in, you can go ahead and view the results in a nice graphical representation, which, for example, I'll show you here. Obviously, this is a test account. It's not really a lot of data to support this here, but if you're able to get 30, 40, 50 votes back from your residents, you'd have some nice populated data. You can print out these results. You can also store them within your document storage section as well to go ahead and view at a later date. And then under community management and features, this is how you go ahead and toggle on the different features that you want to have within your community. So some of these features might not be relative to your association. It's easy to click on and off those at any point in time. We also have a integration with QuickBooks. QuickBooks is a great financial tool for reporting, for accounting, to also send dues to your residents via invoice through email. But just a great financial system. So we're really thankful to have that integration with them. If you are interested in learning more about that integration, please reach out and I will be happy to walk you through that. We also have some additional tools, including our asset management tracking tool. Basically allows you to upload information about the various assets that's owned by the board. Maybe it's a laptop, painting, insurance information. You could attach photos or documents associated with those items. And you can forever track those within the system. Your purchase dates, your warranty date, the costs, etc. We have some additional tools here, including package tracking and access and control. So if you do track the packages coming into and off the property, this is more relative for those large condo buildings that might have a front gate attendant or a concierge at the front desk that manually tracks packages. We have a great system to do so for that. We also have an access control tool. This will allow you to control the guests coming onto and off the property. If you do have like a staff attendant manually checking in guests, this is a great system for you. And we also have an incident reporting tool. This is just a great way to go ahead and have residents report various issues going on within the community. Maybe they want to let the board know about a suspicious person or vandalism within the property, or maybe they just want to complain about their neighbor who had a party until 4 a.m., that sort of thing. We also have an amenity scheduling tool. So if you do have a clubhouse, a pool that you want your residents to reserve, we can go and populate the system with those different amenities, which will allow your residents to be able to schedule them through our system. That pretty much takes you through all the tools that are available. I just want to go ahead and quickly show you the resident perspective a little bit more. So your residents have access to this dashboard, which will allow them to kind of view a window into what's going on within the community. They can view any recent notices, any social network posts that they're involved in that they've liked, commented, or created. You can easily see maintenance requests that they just generated. They can create a new service request from here. And then they can go ahead and view the event calendar as well. So any upcoming events they can easily view. And they also have access to all the data that's available within their unit. So they can easily see the primary residence information, any of the additional residents living on the property. All of the residents have the ability to add their own emergency contact information here. And then I can also add an additional resident into my unit. Say someone moves into your home, maybe it's your mother-in-law, your brother, whatever it might be. You can easily add their information into the system, add it all here, and then an administrator can approve or deny their access to the system. If your association also tracks vehicles, you can do that through our system, parking spaces, as well as pets. So that can come in handy if there is a lost pet within the community. You can easily track and see who it belongs to. So that pretty much takes you through everything that's available within our portal. I'd be happy to provide a more in-depth one-on-one demonstration if you want to reach out. I can go specifically into more of your community's needs. But lastly, I want to go ahead and show you our public-facing websites. So in addition to building out your communication and management portal, we can also build your community a beautiful, modern, public-facing website. It's really a great way to advertise the community to prospective buyers or maybe family members to learn more about the community. So we can go ahead and provide your background image right here, community logo at the top left-hand side. We can help generate a new logo for you if you don't already have one. And then these are the various tabs you can have on the public-facing website. But what's great about our websites is they're 100% template-based. What's great about that is it makes it really easy to make any adjustments yourself. You don't need a high level knowledge of coding or WordPress to make any of these adjustments. It's really quite easy to do. And as you scroll down with this specific template, I can see all of the tabs in the one central page. So my About Us section, my image gallery, just kind of highlighting some of the nicer features within the community. And as I scroll down, I can have this Google map. It's just an interactive map letting folks know exactly where the community is located. You can have a list of community news. So specifically what's most important going on within the community. Maybe it's a major construction project, or maybe you're restructuring the board. Those might be some good items to put here, but this wouldn't necessarily be your everyday communication. You would go ahead and utilize some of those tools within the portal. And then as you scroll down, you can have a list of services. Now, again, you can sort of customize any of these sections. And for example, this one, some of our communities might use this to promote what's local to the community, maybe local restaurants, theme parks, that sort of thing. You can also have an area on the website to store community documents if you'd like. So if I click on See All, I can go ahead and see all of these different services. This is a great place to go ahead and host many different subpages. Your rules and regulations or other community documents, whatever you'd like to utilize this section for. And then as I scroll down, there's a couple of different contact us forms. This one might be for a prospective buyer to learn more about the community, or a vendor that would like to provide some work within the community. And then here's an area for resident questions, just an easy way for people to reach out directly to the board. Maybe they're having trouble accessing the portal, they forgot their password. At least this is an easy way they can go ahead and reach out to you. And then lastly, if you do have any units for sale or for rent, you can utilize this section to go ahead and advertise those here. And at the very bottom right-hand side, if you do have any outside social media sources, such as like a community Facebook, we can provide those direct links. But all this information is public, it's accessible to anyone on Google. All the private information for the board and residents is meant to be safe and secured under access to your community, and that is how you get to the portal. So this takes you to your own branded login page. We can provide your background image right here, your community logo, and then here's some information about our downloadable apps. We do have our iOS and Android application that provides a lot of the same functionality that's available within the desktop platform. But lastly, I just want to go ahead and show you, we do have one last chat feature, communication feature that allows you to reach out directly to our customer success team. But keep in mind, we have a very thorough onboarding process. We call it our white glove onboarding. And basically what that means is we do about 90% of the initial heavy lifting for you. We populate the system with the different tools you want to utilize. We upload your community information, resident information, community documents. You also have a dedicated account manager that will be there to provide full training of each stakeholder, and that's always available for ongoing training as well. So at any point in time, if you need additional training, we'd be happy to provide that by phone or by Zoom. But we also do have this chat feature, which allows you to reach directly out to them. If you go ahead and click on new conversation, they'll usually respond within under about 5 minutes if it's between 9 to 5 Eastern Standard Time. If it is outside that time, you can research any one of our various articles. So you can go here, click on search for answers. For example, maybe you forgot how to post a community notice. You can go ahead and click on that article and view a step-by-step process, or even view a quick tutorial video as well.
Hi, my name's
So
Leila,
as
and
you
today
see
I'm going to show you
here,
how to upload a notice.
Leila's walking
So
through
I'm
how to
currently
post
logged
a
in as Master
notice.
Administrator, as you can see in the top right-hand corner, and I'm on.
All right, so that pretty much takes you through everything within our system. So if you do have any questions, please throw them in the chat section in the Q&A, and we'll address those here very shortly. But I'm going to go ahead and jump back into our presentation here, just to go ahead and mention about our pricing information. So our pricing is based off 3 different plans. We do have a basic, standard, and premium plan. Really depending on which different tools you want to utilize, I'd be happy to walk you through what is available within each plan. Our pricing starts at $25 per month for our basic plan with communities of under 100 units. Our standard plan starts at $45 per month, and our premium plan starts at $65 per month, but it does vary depending on the amount of units within your community. So if you are over those 100 units, please reach out for a direct quote. All right, and that takes me to the end of the presentation. And yeah, we are happy to answer any questions that you might have. I see we already have some within the chat and Q&A. So Leila, what questions do we have so far?
We do indeed. So our first question was from Bill right at the beginning. He asked, does our software compare to Building Link? I think going through, as you went through the software, it's clear that it does compare. We have very similar features to Building Link. So it definitely does. Jim also asked about the enable URL checkbox, which you went through. So it's so that you can share that link outside of the system as well. So posting it in your website, sharing it with residents or prospective residents. Then we had a couple of questions here in the Q&A box as well. So Jocelyn asked what issues are common when transitioning to having your documents online. So I would say the common issues are getting them up there, I think, is the most difficult thing for the board. It does require some organization, some time to get everything up there. And then also communicating with residents on letting them know where they are. So you could include in your newsletter that you're carrying out this project and that this is where they can access documents now. You could send out an email or post it in your website as well, so you have one, so that it's clear for them where they can find those documents. I would say those are the two biggest issues. And then Jocelyn also wanted to know how much storage our platform offers. Do you want to take that one, Frankie?
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to document storage, that's really the only item that is monitored, the amount of storage that you are able to have. Our basic and standard plan allows for 5 gigabytes of document storage, which isn't a specific number of documents, but it is really quite a lot. Somewhere in that 500 to 1,000 range, really depending on the size of each individual document. And then our premium plan actually allows for unlimited document storage.
Exactly. And that was it for our questions, unless someone else is
Okay.
typing anything out. Those are the questions that we have.
Wonderful. Well, I really hope we were able to clear up any of your questions about how to safely store any of your community documents. We have a really great solution if you are interested in finding something that's really specific to HOAs and condominiums, as opposed to just using those other sources like Leila mentioned, Dropbox or Google Docs. Those aren't really meant for HOAs and condos, so we can certainly help you out with a more specific organization tool.
Exactly. And you can set up a one-on-one meeting with Frank by scanning the QR code or by filling in the form that I've just sent. So that would be a personalized demo. He would really go into the system, but with what you guys need in mind, rather than just this broad topic.
Yes, absolutely. And then you will be receiving a follow-up email after today's webinar. And if you want to please provide some feedback on, how well you think we did, if we covered the topics you were interested in learning about. And also, if there's any other topics you'd like to learn about, please let us know. We'd be happy to fit that in one of our future webinars.
Exactly, yeah. So we'll be sending in a thank you email, then we'll be sending out this recording as well by tomorrow. And as well as you can answer that email, when we end this webinar, you'll actually be redirected to a page to instantly rate this webinar. So if you could do that and provide extra information, that really does help us out.
Perfect, yes. All right.
All right. We haven't had any more questions coming in as we chatted away. So I think we can end the webinar. You have Frank's contact details there. And please do get in touch with us.
Yes, please do. I'm looking forward to hearing more from you after today's webinar. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and also an amazing holiday weekend if you are celebrating.
Thank you all so much. Have a lovely day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.